Hey guys, it's Nicole from Grand Coco Liz. I'm at work. I have a little bit of a break, so I thought I'd jump on and do a little video on sweeteners, because that's one of the coinkydinks of the keto diet. And I actually had two people yesterday that I know message me about them. So I thought, oh, this would be a good time. And then I ordered, well, we'll get into that after. I ordered a new sweetener to try. So there is a zillion sweeteners out there, tons of them. You have, keto or not keto, any way of eating other than the standard American diet, which, I mean, even then you should read labels and know what's in your food. But you should know and research what the products in your food are. That's one thing I've learned to do over time on the keto, is to try to do the most purest and natural. So like what I mean by that, like I don't use margarine, I use butter. You know, I don't use low fat items. So I use full fat items because they replace, if something's low fat, they replace the fat with something. And usually it's sugar or something like that. So I try to do the most natural products that I can. Of course, nobody's perfect. But you know, it's better than the processed food 20 years ago that we ate, you know. So, I mean, we're doing better. My health is great. When I left my yearly checkup, Miranda went with me, and it was I think it was in June or July. Literally, when I was walking out, the doctor yelled to me, "Hey, Nicole," from the office. And I was like, yeah. He's like, "Congratulations, your health is amazing." Swear to God that happened. And that's exactly what he said. And I was like, oh, thanks, you know, because he didn't say anything when he was in the room. So anyway, so I have, over time, I don't take any meds. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes. I don't have anything like that. But prior to my way of life now, before I cleaned up my act, so to speak, I was in trouble, I think. Not that my health was bad, but my father has a pretty severe case of diabetes, and he has high blood pressure and, you know, a lot of health issues. He's had a few strokes, and I was headed down that path because I didn't, not that I didn't care, it's just I didn't worry about it, you know. So, and back then I didn't read labels. I'm a psycho now. You have to see me in the grocery store. It takes me probably half the time reading labels that it does for me to shop, because I read everything. And I know somebody in the store can come up to me and be like, "What is that?" And I can tell you what it is. So it's an obsession, and it's weird. So I have a list of stuff I wrote down, not because I don't know what it is, but because I don't want to forget anything. So it's my little cheat sheet. So sweeteners. There's sugar, which is probably the purest form that you can eat. And if you're not doing keto, go for it. I mean, just don't, you know, it has carbs, and sugar's, I don't want to say sugar's bad for you. You just don't want to overdo sugar. You don't want to overdo anything, even the things that we do in keto. So, you know, we're going to refer to keto sweeteners. Let's do that so that we're not dogging sugar. So the first one, okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is stevia. So when I first started keto a couple years ago or whatever, that was my jam. And that to this day is my husband's jam. He prefers stevia over anything. So he's not 100% keto. My kids are not 100% keto, but they do eat a lot of stuff that I make. So, and it's not because they want to be keto. It's just, it tastes good and they like it. And we don't even refer to it as mom's diet anymore, I guess. It's just, oh, I can't have, they know that mom doesn't eat sugar or bread, anything white. So, you know, like for instance, if my son was like, "Hey mom, try this donut," you know, I can't have a donut. Oh, that's right, mom. Yeah, I forgot. But if I was to make a donut, they would eat it and not question what was in it. Does that make sense? So like, they wouldn't say, "Is this made with sugar or stevia?" or, you know, whatever. So my husband's jam is stevia. He prefers that. That's what we started with, or when we went from sugar to no sugar in our house. Nobody in my house eats sugar at home. Okay, that was a lie. I don't buy sugar in my home. I'm not gonna say they don't eat sugar, because like I buy them. My son's favorite cereal is Fruity Pebbles, and that's full of sugar, so he does eat sugar. But I'm saying at home I don't have a sugar jar. I have a non-sugar jar, you know. So we use sweeteners, but it's not sugar in our house. Now, do I buy them things that have sugar in it? Of course I do. I buy my son his Fruity Pebbles, and my daughter likes those cereal bars, and you know, so we have stuff. Anyway, so stevia. That's where we started. Stevia, it comes from a plant. Nothing wrong with it. It comes from a plant, 0 calories, 0 carbs. Doesn't raise the blood sugar, doesn't raise your insulin levels. I might have to stop this in a second, and then I'll be back, but we'll see. Stevia doesn't raise your insulin levels, doesn't raise your blood sugar. 0 calories, 0 carbs. It is a, I mean, I like stevia. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's not my first choice anymore, but I like it. So, it's got a much sweeter taste, I think, than real sugar, and a slight aftertaste. But nothing, I like it. I like stevia. So does Cruz. So do the kids. You'll probably, if you're going to use stevia in a recipe, you'll probably want to use a little bit less. I think it's sweeter. So, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't raise your blood sugar, 0 calories, 0 carbs. It's good. It's fine. Use stevia. The one that I use the most is, well, I have 2 on here, but I use the erythritol or the monk fruit. The Lakanto monk fruit is probably the one I use the most in the white form. One second. Okay, sorry. So the Lakanto monk fruit is probably the one I go to the most. The erythritol is good for baking. So let me see what I got here. So I have the erythritol and the monk fruit both written down as my jams. But the erythritol is made from fermented cornstarch. Okay, so it is a sugar alcohol. So it's fermented. But it occurs naturally. So, you know, it's keto because it occurs naturally. So it is partially absorbed by your body. Low carbs, low calories, so low that they are able, we'll get into this after, but they're able to put it, because it's negligible, as 0. So you don't have to count it as far as carbs and calories. It does not raise your sugar or your insulin levels. Easy swap out with sugar. So if you're making a recipe and it calls for a cup of sugar, you can use a cup of erythritol. If it calls for a cup of brown sugar, you can use a cup of erythritol. You know, so works really good in baking. The baking part is it works good. I do have erythritol in my house because I use a lot of it when I do bake. So I have several packages of it. The Swerve has the powdered sugar, the powdered erythritol. It has the brown sugar erythritol, which is delicious. But the powdered sugar and their granulated erythritol, not just Swerves, any erythritol. I don't know how to explain it, but it has almost a like a cooling sensation, if that makes sense. So, like if you eat a peppermint patty and you swallow it or toothpaste, you know, breathe in that cooling sensation. That's what it has in it. So that's kind of a funky thing to get through. Some people can't stand that. I can stand it, but I don't like it. So that's where I go to the monk fruit. So for instance, for baking, if I need to use powdered sugar, I deal with the cooling sensation because I use the Swerve. Because it's the erythritol, and I need a powdered sugar for this recipe or whatever, so I will use it. But I prefer the next one that I'm going to talk about, which is the monk fruit, because it does not have that cooling sensation that the erythritol has. So the monk fruit, I might have this wrong, but I believe it was cultivated in Asia, but it was They used to use it years and years and years and years ago, ground up like in a tea and broth and stuff like that. Well, over time they discovered the sweetness and, you know, all of that stuff, and then it became used for sugar. So it is a fruit, loosely, but in the ground form, it does not raise the insulin levels or your blood sugars. So you can eat it as if you would eat sugar. It does not have that cooling effect. It has a pretty smooth taste. It is, they say it's sweeter. I don't remember. There's, if you want to know all the numbers, you can look online, but there's a certain percentage they'll say that stevia is sweeter than sugar, by however, like, this is not the numbers, I'm just giving an example. They may say stevia is 600 times sweeter than sugar. You know, erythritol is 200 times, whatever they say. So they say the same thing about monk fruit, that it's a certain percentage sweeter than sugar. I don't see that. I understand the erythritol and I understand the stevia, but for the monk fruit, I do not think it's sweeter than sugar. I think it's the same. So I use it the exact same way. There's no cooling sensation, so you don't get that like you do with the erythritol. It is sweet. I say you use equal. So cup of sugar, cup of monk fruit. I buy the Lakanto. Everybody knows I buy the Lakanto because I'm very open about what I use. So they sell the granulated and they sell it in the golden. I've used both. They're good. I love them. That's the one I use the most. But there might be a change. We'll see. So you have to kind of watch the, so, okay, so like I said, I've done my research. So when you get your package, read your labels. So I buy the Lakanto. I trust it. I've used it for a long time. It does not affect my ketones. It does not affect any of that stuff. I also don't, I know the videos you see, it looks like I'm cooking sweets all the time or whatever, but I really don't. So it's not like I eat it all the time. But you have to read the labels and be careful, because there is a way, you know, there's everything has to be, you know, go through the FDA or whatever, and it doesn't necessarily have to be FDA approved. But there's a way they can get around things. So they can call, when I say they, I mean companies, they can call a monk fruit, so you can get a package of monk fruit, and it'll say monk fruit sweetener, keto friendly, yada da da da. But read it, because if it's there's some that are proprietary blends. So if you, it'll say monk fruit, and there is monk fruit in it, but if you read it, it's like 2% monk fruit. But they can say that because it is in it. And then you go through and read it, and it's all this other crap. So just make sure you read the labels, make sure it is monk fruit, and that it's not a proprietary blend, and that it's, you know, because that can jack it up, because then the ones that are proprietary blends, if it uses something that is not keto friendly, then you're, you know, that stuff can add up. You know, it may, oh, it's only a half a carb. Yeah, well, if you use a cup of it, well, you know, if it's a half a carb per tablespoon or whatever. So you just kind of got to read your labels and understand that it's got to be the purest. That's so hypocritical for me to say this, but the purest form of fake sugar, I guess. Because it is. Monk fruit is a plant, so, you know, it is a pure thing. It's not like, we'll get to it later in the conversation, but it's not like it's made in a factory. So it isn't sugar, but it is, you know, a pure thing that you don't want jacked up with other stuff by being a proprietary blend. So you just make sure you read your labels. I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna do something for work real quick, and then I'll be back. Okay, sorry. That might happen quite a bit in here. Okay, so the next thing I was going to talk about is xylitol. So there's a funny story behind the xylitol thing. So xylitol is derived from a plant. It's low carb, low glycemic index. I believe the glycemic index is moderately low, not real low. So it can raise your blood sugar. Back when we first started, or when I first started keto, you know, I was exploring my options, and I heard about xylitol, and so I saw it in a health food store, so I bought it to try it. And I tried it, and it wasn't bad, but within a couple of hours I was sick. It raises it can raise your blood sugar a little bit, which I think that's what happened that day, because this was back before I had my keto mojo, so I couldn't check my blood glucose or my ketones. But here's the thing with the xylitol is it is half absorbed by your colon and digested, and the other half, I'm sorry, your half of it is digested, and the other half is fermented in your colon and stays in your body. So it just ferments and then just stays there, and that's where the stomach upset comes in. If you eat just a hair, it's really, I mean, literally though, I remember when I did this, and Cruz and I tried it, and he got sick too. We literally only had like a teaspoon or something in our coffee that day, and we were sick as a dog, and we couldn't figure it out. And then I did my research, which I probably should have done before we bought it, but I didn't. And when I say sick, it wasn't like we were puking, but our stomachs hurt. So we had such bad stomach aches and TMI, we were in the bathroom. So we were like diarrheaing it up, and my stomach hurt, and his stomach hurt, and he was just like, oh my God, what did you give me? And then we figured it out, because we read the back, and it says it right on the package, may cause digestive issues. So I was like, oh my God. He's like, throw that away. I'm never using it again. So it is fermented in the colon, so it stays there. So it's got to do something. It's got to come out somehow. There you go. That's the way it comes out. So the other thing is, for xylitol, the good thing, but I haven't used it since, is that it's good in recipes. It's good to, freeze, like if you're going to make an ice cream, they say that it works really well. I haven't tried it because of this issue, but equal sweetness to sugar. But the negative, which we have animals, is it's extremely toxic to animals. Now, it's not like I make a bunch of keto goods and I feed my dog, but if she was to get into it, like, it can kill your dog. The xylitol is like horribly poisonous to animals. So, and you know, it's not like the cheapest. I want to say we got like maybe a 6-ounce bag, if that, and it was like $12.99. I don't know. So it's not real cheap, but anyway, we just decided we didn't want to be in the toilet all night and day. So, because like I that was one of those things, like if you ate it and you had to go to the bathroom, you had to have a bathroom or you're in trouble, because it was like explosive. It was bad. It was bad. Okay, so the next thing is the allulose. And that's the one I said I wanted to talk to you about after, because I just ordered some today. I haven't tried it yet. Okay, so this is going to sound horrible, but, well, it's not going to sound horrible because I'm just being honest. But, so those of you who know me and who are friends with me on Facebook, not just with the Grand Coco Live stuff, but if you're a personal friend of me, you saw that I posted yesterday, I made homemade dulce de leche for my husband and my kids. And I made that like legit, like out of sugar and the good stuff. So it's legit dulce de leche. And anybody who knows me knows that I love caramel more than I love life itself. I mean, you've heard me say this 100 times, I'm not a sweets person. And I know this sounds so hypocritical because I'm really not. But if I'm going to eat sweets, I could sit there and eat caramel with a spoon. I love dulce de leche. Love, 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 love. But I haven't had it in forever. So a couple years probably. And, but if I, it's good. It's good. So, anyway, so I made that for him. And then, joke, he's been like taking a scoop of it and putting it in his coffee. He's been eating pan dulce and putting it like little Mexican sweetbreads and dunking it. And I was just like, dude, you're eating too much of it. Like, chill. He's like, it's so good. It's so good. So this morning, as a joke, I took a piece of paper and I wrapped it around the mason jar that I put the dulce de leche in, and I wrote danger diabetes on it. So it was like a big running joke, like, Dad's eating too much dulce de leche, you know. So I was like, oh God, I need to figure a way to make that keto. So I had tried to make some keto sweetened condensed milk, and it came out great. But then I tried to make this. I was like, okay, so if I can make sweetened condensed milk out of, that's a keto version, then I could just, you know, steep that in some water bath for like 4 hours, and it'll caramelize and it'll make a dulce de leche. Well, I tried it and it disintegrated, and I don't even know what I did wrong. It was a fail. So I was like, okay. that's where the allulose came up, because I read about it. And so here's the thing, it's 4 net carbs for, I want to say it was 2 tablespoons or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's not, no, I'm not going to do that. But then I read up on it, and it's, yes, it may be 4 net carbs, but your body can't metabolize it. So you do not absorb the carbs. They're excreted. So you don't, it basically comes out to 0 net carbs. Now, if you're a total carb counter, it's not going to work for you. But what happens is your body can't metabolize it, so it comes out, instead of digestively, like explosive diarrhea or something, where your colon absorbs it like the xylitol. This one just comes out in your urine without being absorbed, from what I understand. So there's no carbs, no calories. I'm sure there is. It's just negligible that you don't count it. Tastes like sugar. They say there's no digestive issues. There's no stomach upset. And I was reading about it, and it got rave reviews from fellow keto goers. They did say, I did have a few that I read that said if you eat an absorbent amount, like if you eat a ton of it, then your stomach might hurt. But I mean, I guess it's anything, you know, if you overeat it. But so we'll see. We'll see, because I ordered it. They say it bakes and freezes like sugar, and that it does caramelize. So Cruz, after I bought him the dulce de leche, he ordered me a what are those torches that you do creme brulee with or whatever, because he was like, oh, I bought you this because I want you to do like a crystallized top of sugar on something that's keto. And you know, I was like, oh, okay, so you want another dessert. He's got a sweet tooth. So when he said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if this stuff does that. And I read up on it, and it said it caramelizes like sugar, it cooks like sugar, brulees like sugar, it freezes like sugar, and it bakes like sugar. So, and it's a tad less sweet than sugar, which is a good thing. I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. So I ordered it, and I read on the reviews, and I got some recommendations. I mean, this is like 3 days worth of research before I finally ordered it. So I got a coupon that I had, so I put it in there, and I got a 2-pound bag for $18.99. It's kind of pricey. That was one of the negatives. But I am okay spending that if it's going to be something that I like, because my goal always is, I'm not going to say I don't care how much I have to spend, because I do, but I'm frugal where it counts. But if it's something that I want, I'm not frugal, like I'll pay whatever. So my goal has always been, I want to live this lifestyle for the rest of my life, so therefore I'm going to make it work. So if I can find a better way to do it, then that's what I'm going to do. So right now, my monk fruit is my jam. It has been for about a year, and if this works better, then that's what I'm going to do. So again, other than my videos where I make sweet things for y'all, I don't tend to make sweet stuff often. Now, I'm going to 100% try to make dulce de leche, and I'll make sweet stuff for my videos. But like the brownies and the cookies that I made the other day, I haven't touched them since. I put them in a baggie, and they're in our deep freezer. The French toast egg bites, they're in my freezer. I tried them for you, and then I bagged them up, because I know I'm not going to sit there and eat them. If you offered me a brownie or an egg, I'm going to pick the egg every time. But if you offer me dulce de leche, brownie, or an egg, I'll take the dulce de leche poured over my brownie and my egg. It's so good. So we'll see. So I'm supposed to get it by Thursday or Friday. I ordered it through Amazon, and I'll let you know what I think of the allulose. I'm excited. I want to try it. So, and it got rave reviews, like it's approved by the FDA, and you know, all this other stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The allulose, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try it, and you know, I'll be honest. I'll let you know what I think of it. From what I understand, allulose comes from a plant, basically fig wheat or corn, and it's broken down in a different, because it's, when they extract it, I guess it's so expensive, because when they extract it, no matter how much they extract the fruit or whatever the process is, very little of it is allulose. So it's really hard to get a good amount. And they compare it to fructose, which is not good. But they say the chemical breakdown of it digests differently in the body than fructose. So it has the start of the same chemical makeup of fructose, but then when it breaks down in your body, it's different. I don't know. We'll see. And I'll be able to tell if it affects my ketosis and all of that, because all of these things, you of course don't want you to kick you out of ketosis. So we'll see. So I'll let you know once I get it and what I think and all of that fun stuff. So the last thing is the like ACE-K, aspartame, saccharin, sucralose. I can't think of anything else. We're going to say those things. Those sweeteners, like Equal, Sweeten Low, aspartame, you know, the sucralose, all of those. Like I think Splenda has sucralose in it. They're a lot more sweet than sugar and little calories and carbs, but they do add up. So if you read the packaging of a lot of those things, you'll see that they do have some calories and some carbs. The difference between them, allulose, xylitol, stevia, monk fruit, and all of those is the stevia, the monk fruit, the ones that I listed before, stevia, monk fruit, allulose, xylitol, erythritol. Those come from plants. So I was going to say natural sources, which they do come from natural sources, but then they're modified, so to speak, to create the sugar. Where the synthetic sweeteners is what I'm going to call them, like the Splenda, the ACE-K, the aspartame, the saccharin, all of those are created in a lab. So that's what the difference is. So they're not natural. Nothing natural about them. So after my research, I found that even on packaging, the FDA, so if something has one carb and 4 calories or less, 1 carb or 4 calories or less, they are allowed to call it a no calorie, no carb product. They have to have both of those things, not just one or the other. So you can have, you know, like, I don't know, a low carb bread, but because it's higher calorie, even if it's only 1 carb, but because it's higher calorie, they can't say this. But if there's something that's 1 carb or less and less than 4 calories, they can call it no calorie, no carb. So that's where they get away with, like, the Splenda, the aspartame, all of those. However, those, you have to read the labels because they're synthetic. They are synthetically made with pure carbs and then broke down however they do it. So they are not keto for that because your body's going to break it down differently. So you have to read the labels. Just read your labels. And of course, those things are cheaper, I know. If you're going to stick with anything because of cost, your best bet is just to go with stevia, because you can get a Walmart stevia brand that is pretty keto friendly and clean for a decent price. So you can pay $4.98 for a bag of stevia and $18.99 for a bag of allulose, or $4.99 for this bag of stevia, which is stevia and pretty good and pretty clean, and if you like the taste. Or you can spend, you know, $20 on this bag of monk fruit. So I choose to pick the one that I like the best, that works better for me, which is the monk fruit. Right now I'm going to try the allulose. But again, like, mine doesn't, I don't go, it's not like I'm going through it every week. So I know you're seeing some of these things, but so like my my monk fruit, I've had that same package of monk fruit for probably 2 months now. So I think I might be lying, but I think that one I got at Costco for like $12 or $10. I don't think that's bad to have it for 3 months and then use it all. So, but you may, you know, and that's fine. So go the stevia route. Just, whatever, just stay away from like the aspartame and the saccharin. Okay, so I'm telling you this, and I'm going to be a hypocrite again, because sucralose is another they stay away from. I use sucralose every single day in my coffee. I use skinny syrups. Most of them are made with sucralose. They do have a keto line of syrups, but I don't like them as well. So I buy the regular kind, and it doesn't affect my ketosis, and I'm good. I mean, I use a couple squirts, and now I drink 600 cups of coffee a day, so I have 600 squirts probably, but as long as it doesn't kick me out of ketosis, and if I stall on my weight loss, I usually say it's not because of the skinny syrups, it's the amount of half and half I put in my coffee, but because I don't use a lot of half and half, I use a couple of tablespoons though, and I drink a lot of coffee, so it adds up, so you have to watch that stuff. So I say the skinny syrups don't affect my ketosis. We'll see over time what happens. I've been drinking them for probably a couple of years because I like the flavored coffees, and you can use extracts and do it an easier way, but I like them. I like them, and I use them to make cocktails for us, and we have literally probably 80 different bottles. We buy them all the time. I send them to my mother. My mom likes them, and so I usually send her a box every month, or every other month of different flavors, and she uses them, and there you go. So I don't know. So that has most of those have sucralose. So I'm saying don't use sucralose, and I do. So you kind of have to know your body, have to know what if you're not losing weight and you do use the sucralose, well then your body may not metabolize it the way my body does. Like maybe, and I may eventually get to where I can't use the skinny syrups because no matter what I do, I'm not losing weight. But right now I have a little junk in the trunk that I still need to lose, so I don't think my body cares right now. When I get closer to goal, I may. I don't know. So if you're a clean ketoer, I'm not the cleanest ketoer. I mean, I do what works for me. Whether it's 100% clean keto or not, I just read the ingredients, and if I feel it works for me, then I'll use it. So I try to do, like, when I go to the grocery store, I read labels, and I do all of that and try to get the cleanest ingredients I can. But then there's just some stuff I won't give up. Like, I tried literally for like 4 days to go black coffee, and I ain't doing it. I love coffee, and that's just one thing I'm not willing to give up. I'll give up anything else. I like my sweetened coffee with half and half, and that's the way I'm going to drink it. Used to drink it with Cremora, the powdered. So I went from that to half and half, and I'm good. So, and I don't like heavy cream in it because it has a fatty mouthfeel. So I prefer the half and half. I don't know. You know, so you have to do what works for you. Do you? So there's your little sweetener education for the day. Let me know if you have any questions. It's just read your labels. You'll get to understand it. I'm going to try the allulose. I'll let you know what I think. But right now I'm in the monk fruit thing. Cruz still likes his stevia. He likes the monk fruit though, I have to say, because when I bake with it, he doesn't notice. Or he does, he doesn't say anything. So, yeah, just figure out what sweetener works for you. And I understand, you know, a lot of people are concerned about cost with sweeteners, and it's a legitimate concern. But there's ways to lower that, because your stores now are selling so many keto-friendly things. Even just Walmart. If you just go through Walmart, just go in the baking aisle and look at their flours and their sugars. They have so many different options. You know, so just check things out and do the cleanest you can do and the best you can do, and whatever works for your body, go with it. You know, that's the way to do it. So I hope this helped. Let me know what you think, and I'll let you know what I think about the allulose. All right, have a good night.